Hello everybody, it's Richard here, library storyteller, and I'm here to share some stories with you and some poems which I hope will lift your spirits. Today is called, supposedly, Blue Monday, and so it's said this is the most depressing day of the year. Well, I don't believe anything like that at all. I think any day is a day when we can lift our spirits with stories and with poems. And that's what I'm going to try to do today. I'm going to share two of my favorite poems with you, and I'm going to tell you a couple of stories. So I'd like to start with a truly wonderful poem, which is very familiar to a lot of people, I think. And we've almost forgotten how wise and profound it is. But I'm going to tell it to you now. It's by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon my inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. Well, next I want to tell you a traditional story. This story, I think, is quite familiar to a lot of people, but the beauty of traditional stories is that somehow you can tell them again and again. This story is about a pot. It was an old pot. It was a cracked pot, but it was an honest pot. And if you want to see it, here is a picture of that pot. There we are. A little bit misshapen, a little bit the worse for wear. Now, there was a lady who used to take that pot down to the river. She filled it, she put it under her arm, and she walked back home. Here she is, but down by the river, dipping the pot into the water, seeing it filled to the brim and carrying it back down a grassy path. One day when she got back home and she went to tip out the pot, she realised that there was only a little bit of water left in the bottom. Here she is, somewhat surprised. She said, "What's this? It was full when I was at the river." She put it down on a table and she saw that water was leaking out of it. This is what she saw. She said, "I know what's happened. This pot is too old, it's too cracked. Tomorrow, I will throw it on the rubbish bin and get another one." And the moment she said that, she heard a little voice. "Oh, please, don't throw me away." "Who's that?" she said. "It's me. It's the pot." "What? You've never spoken to me before." "Listen," said the pot. Please don't throw me on the rubbish bin. Please don't throw me away. I do good work. No, you don't, said the old lady. You don't do good work at all. All the water has leaked out of you. I've got to go to the river several times just to get the water I need. The pot said, please, just take me down to the river one last time and I'll show you what I do. And the old lady was kind. She said, all right then, my good old pot, let's go. She picked up the pot and they walked down to the river. And she set the pot down by the riverbank. And she saw for the first time that the riverbank was covered in flowers. And the little pot said to her, can you see those flowers? Yes, she said. And the little pot said, how far do those flowers go? And the old lady stood up and she walked down the path looking and checking. And then she came back and she said, you know, those flowers go all the way up to my front door. Yes, said the pot. Flowers will only grow if they have water. And where do you think the water comes from? She looked at the pot. Where? It comes, said the pot, from me. Okay, it seeps out and you don't have all the water you need when you get home. But in exchange, you have a path of flowers. And the old lady looked at the path. She breathed in the scent of those flowers. She looked at the pot and she said, you know, you taught me something today. Everybody has something to contribute. Sometimes we overlook it. But if you look closely enough, you can always see what it is. And from now on, you will be the pot I use every day. And so it was. But the old lady went up and down to the river bank several times a day to get the water she needed. But in exchange, she walked along a path of flowers. So there we are. There is a traditional story. And now I would like to tell you another one of my favorite poems. It's by a poet called Robert Frost, and it's about winter. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds, the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. And miles to go before I sleep. So I hope you enjoyed that poem. And if you've never heard it before, I hope it's a great discovery for you. I love how it captures a mood and an atmosphere. Now, to finish, I'm going to tell another traditional story. And this one is about a little bird. Once there was a bird. It was a young bird. And every morning it sang. Its heart was so full, it sang on and on and on. It sang in the beautiful, gentle sunlight of spring. On and on it sang. It sang in the lovely, deep, cool shade of summer. On and on it sang. It sang in the beautiful brown and gold cool of autumn. On and on it sang. But one day the other birds came to it and they said, "Come on, we're going now." "What?" "Yes, we're going. We do this every year. We fly far away to a place which is warmer. It's great. Come on." The birds all flew away. But that little bird stayed where it was, singing and singing with its eyes closed, until one day it got very cold. Strange, cold, chilly flakes came falling out of the sky and landed on its feathers and chilled it to the bone, and it started to shiver, and it stopped singing and said, "Oh, now I understand. I wish I followed the others. I wish I'd gone to that nice warm place they were talking about." It hopped. It fell into the snow. It got colder and colder. And now the little bird cried out, "Help!" And then there was a voice. It was the oak tree. And the oak tree said, "Little bird, I have loved your songs. If you need somewhere to shelter, there's a hole in my trunk. You can go in there." And then there was another voice. It was a tree of berries. And the tree said, "Little bird, I've loved listening to your songs. If you're hungry, I have red berries for you." And then there was another voice. It was an evergreen tree, and the evergreen said, "Little bird, I enjoy your songs. If you need somewhere to sit and stay warm and go on singing, then you can sit among my leaves." And so it was that that little bird sang all through the winter and survived on the berries and sheltered in the oak tree. And one day, spring returned, and the little bird sang with its heart filled with joy. And after that, the other birds returned, and they crowded round the little bird and said, "You're still here." And the little bird told them the story that I've just told you. And that is the end of the story. So there we are. There are my two stories and two poems, and I hope that they have lifted your spirits and brought you some entertainment, whatever day of the year it is. So it only remains for me to say, may you sing your song and keep on singing it. May you walk down your path of flowers and keep on walking. May you stop and feel the silence and stillness and peace all around you. Thank you for listening, and until the next time, goodbye.